In 1994, a white Ford Bronco crawled down a California highway while police followed close behind. News helicopters hovered overhead. Nearly 95 million people watched live. Inside that vehicle was O.J. Simpson, football legend, actor, and one of the most recognizable faces in America. What followed became known as the trial of the century. A case involving fame, race, domestic violence, forensic evidence, and a verdict that would divide the nation. Before the trial, O.J. Simpson was more than a former athlete. He was an American icon. He won the Heisman Trophy at the University of Southern California, then became a superstar running back for the Buffalo Bills. He later played for the San Francisco 49ers and broke rushing records that stood for years. After football, Simpson transitioned into entertainment. He worked as a broadcaster and appeared in films like The Naked Gun. By the early 1990s, he had built a public image that crossed racial lines. Charismatic, marketable, and widely admired. But behind the scenes, his marriage to Nicole Brown Simpson was deeply troubled. Police had responded to multiple domestic disturbance calls. There were documented incidents of violence. Then, on the night of June 12, 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman were found stabbed to death outside her condominium in Los Angeles. The crime scene was brutal. Investigators quickly began building a case. Suspicion turned to O.J. Simpson. Blood evidence was collected from the scene, from Simpson's home, and from his vehicle. A bloody glove was discovered near the bodies, and another was found at Simpson's estate. On June 17th, 1994, the world witnessed something surreal. Simpson became the subject of a slow-speed police chase in a white Ford Bronco driven by his friend Al Cowlings. The chase unfolded live on national television. Highways were shut down. People gathered on overpasses holding signs. Eventually, Simpson returned to his home and was taken into custody without incident. The criminal trial began in 1995 in Los Angeles. It would last nearly 11 months and become one of the most watched court cases in history. The prosecution was led by Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden. They argued that DNA evidence, blood drops, shoe prints, and the gloves tied Simpson directly to the murders. At the time, DNA testing was still relatively new to the public, and prosecutors believed it would be decisive. Simpson's defense team, often called the Dream Team, included Johnny Cochran and Robert Shapiro, among others. Their strategy went beyond challenging the physical evidence. They focused heavily on the integrity of the investigation itself. Audio recordings later surfaced in which Furman used racial slurs, severely damaging the prosecution's credibility. Then came one of the most memorable moments of the trial. Prosecutors asked Simpson to try on the gloves found at the crime scene. In front of the jury, Simpson appeared to struggle putting them on. The gloves looked too tight. Seizing the moment, Johnny Cochran delivered a line that would define the trial. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
It's no disguise. It makes no sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The glove demonstration became symbolic of reasonable doubt. Whether the gloves truly didn't fit or were affected by shrinkage and protective latex gloves underneath became a matter of debate. But visually, the damage was done. Outside the courtroom, the case exposed deep racial divides in America. The trial came just a few years after the Rodney King riots, and tensions between the Los Angeles Police Department and the black community were still raw. For many black Americans, the case represented long-standing distrust of law enforcement. For many white Americans, the evidence seemed overwhelming. On October 3rd, 1995, after less than 4 hours of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict. O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of the murders.
James Simpson, case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187.
Across the country, some people celebrated while others sat in stunned silence. Television networks captured emotional responses in offices, schools, and homes nationwide. Even decades later, the case continues to spark debate. Was justice served? Was it a failure of the system, or proof that the burden of proof matters? For many, the trial wasn't just about one man. It was about how a nation sees truth, fairness, and doubt, especially when the whole world is watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like, and I appreciate that you made it to the end.